Hey, what's up, everybody? My card did not save a single thing I just said, so I'm going to reshoot this whole thing. First of all, if you hear screaming or like banging or like really scary noises, like I really apologize. Upstairs neighbors are like crazy. I don't know what happens up there. Just a little disclosure. But anyways, and that's the tea. Hey, what's up, everybody, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Alli Valdez, aka The Modern Actress, and I am so excited to talk with you all today. First, shout out, if you want to follow me on Instagram, please feel free to do so. My Instagram handle is at alli.valdez with two Z's. I'll put it right here for you to go out and check out. That Instagram I use on a daily basis. I post pretty daily updates on my story about like me out and about in LA, things I'm doing that week. If you really want to be in tune with my everyday life, feel free to jump over onto Instagram and follow me there. I try to put videos out every single week, but if you want to see day-by-day, play-by-play action, feel free to follow me on Instagram. Without further ado, I am so excited to talk with you all today about my top 10 things you should know as a young actor before moving out to LA. A little bit of a disclosure, I am not an expert in this field. This is just advice I wish I would have known prior to moving out, and just small little tidbits to know to fully prepare yourself and cushion yourself for a successful career out in Los Angeles. Okay, tip number one. I'm gonna get real with everyone. You should know before even booking your flight out here, you should know before even looking at apartments or places to live, this number one concept. This is something my very first ever acting coach shared and instilled into me. So know you are enough. You don't need to lose weight. You don't need to chop your hair. You don't need to dye your hair. You don't need to conform to society. You don't need to be conform to like the LA like lifestyle, because you are enough in your own work. Tip number one, you are enough, okay? Tip number two, we are going into, this is a piece of advice that you need to understand. Being an actor in LA is no different than being an NFL player or a Supreme Court justice. And what I mean with that is it takes time to hone in on your craft. You don't just get discovered overnight in a coffee shop. Like, I want to believe that it is true and that that does happen to some people, but in the real world of being an actor in LA, fresh in the industry, like, please be prepared to know that you're going to have to work just as hard as NFL players do. You cannot go from like playing yaffle football to the NFL tomorrow. And that really hit home with me, especially because talking to family and friends back home, they expect you to launch your career right off the ground and be on network TV tomorrow as soon as you touch down in LA. But please know that your career is going to take time to develop, and you're here for the longevity of your career, not a sprint to the finish line. Just think about it like that in terms of your career. If you're a person like me who had a business background before I moved out here, how could I, as a said first year law student, expect to be on the Supreme Court tomorrow? Your craft is going to take time to develop. You're going to learn, you're going to grow, and really enjoy the process of development. It's going to take time, and you are going to have to work really hard and grind and hit the pavement. Okay? Kind of piggybacking off of that, I'm not going to make it a new one. Everyone in LA, small town prom queen and their small town like class president, okay? Do not fear for that. Do not become intimidated by it. Just know you are moving to the number one most sought after city in the world, going to do something every single person out here is doing. So just keep that in mind. Keep it to yourself. Stay humble, work hard, and know that just because someone next to you landed an audition for the CW doesn't mean that you won't. You will get there. You just have to keep grinding, okay? So that being said, I'm going to switch gears a little bit. My tip, find a flexible job. Yes, in a perfect world, I would love to drop everything and primarily focus on acting and not worry about my side hustles, but the truth of the matter is you have to find a job that's flexible and find a job that is going to be able to at least pay your rent at the end of the month. Yes, I wanted to touch down in LA and wanted to start booking shows and booking commercials and booking movies. However, that does not happen right away. Again, going off of my first tip, you need to work hard, but in order to do that, you still have to financially support yourself. Someone's calling me. Hello? Hey, Mom. I am filming a YouTube video right now. Okay, I'll call you a little bit later. Okay, bye. What was I going? Oh, yes, I would love to have a full YouTube video about what I do as a normal job in order to get by as an actor. So if you find that interesting and you want me to share with you all the side hustles I've developed in my year in LA, please let me know in the comments below. Text me, message me, DM me, let me know if that's something you're interested in, and I would love to share with you all my side hustles. But that being said, what you want to do, you want to try to find a job that's flexible enough during the work week to be open for auditions and classes and callbacks and workshops and seminars. So really working a typical 8 to 5 job is not ideal, being that you're going to have to be asking your boss off of work to leave for your 2 o'clock audition. A lot of people are servers, work weekends, work evenings. I work weekends, evenings, and then I work flexible work from home job. So if you can find something with that luxury, I really encourage it, just because you need to be open and ready for your audition, because this town does not wait for anybody. Okay, moving on. I think we're on tip number 4. Find a really great studio to call home. It's very important that you study and you continue your craft as much as possible. Like I said at the beginning of this video, your craft is going to take time to develop, so you need to find a really good studio to land and call it home. So I currently study at Warner Laughlin Studios. Though I am on a bit of a break right now to save up financially, I think that is the best studio in town that I have been able to plant myself. There's a whole slew of acting studios out here in LA. Just do your research. They are expensive, you know. There is a price that comes with all of that, but I think it's extremely important to be studying every single week, at least once a week, to be studying in class on a scene with an instructor. This studio will definitely become your second family, especially in this town if you don't have any family. I'm very fortunate to have some family and friends out here, but if you don't, if you're coming completely by yourself, I highly recommend finding a community through your acting studio, because in a scene you already are going to be vulnerable and you have to express that emotion. So it's really great to have friends that can get you through a scene and also get you through real life problems. I went through some stuff earlier this year in January, and now I really understand the expression, like, pour yourself into your craft. I went through some awful stuff, and through my acting classes and being at Warner and being with my instructor, I was able to leave everything that was happening in my personal life and dive into my work. I promise you will not regret it. It'll be the best thing ever. Moving on. Okay, this is my tip. Tip number 5. Do not spend a lot on headshots. I can't tell you how outrageous headshots are. So now we're going to get into like a little bit of the nitty-gritty stuff. It's important to come out here with a headshot, yes, but you don't need to spend thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars on headshots. A lot of places are going to charge you up the wazoo. They're not going to come with any editing or anything, so you're going to have to pay for additional retouching costs. It's okay to want to work with the best of the best photographers. Yes, they're going to charge up the wazoo, but I think it's very important to find someone who is an associate with a studio who can offer you lower rates for working on their portfolio. As a matter of fact, I had a friend the other day, he got a DM on Instagram from a young photographer who wanted to shoot his headshots for free. So that there's so many different resources out here in LA, especially if you want good headshots. You can really find good headshots really cheap. You just have to be able to kind of finesse your way and navigate through like social media and just kind of stalk some people. I worked with an associate photographer through a studio that I really wanted to shoot at. Shooting at the studio would have been like $800 just to shoot, plus retouching, plus printing, plus uploading. If you want me to do a whole tutorial on headshots and what all that meant, please let me know in the comments below. I would love to do a full video on what it means to get your headshots done, your headshots retouched, your headshots uploaded, and what all that means. But for now, I'm just going to stick to the terms of like, just try to find someone who will be able to do your headshots affordable. Okay, tip number 6, before you move out here, try to do as much theatrical, commercial, theater work as you can as possible to really build up your resume. So whether that be you participating in local theater back home, whether that be you book a small, non-union, low-budget film and get yourself on tape, whether it be anything small that you can just put onto your resume, something is better than nothing. So do come with a little bit of experience under your belt. Try to find as many local open casting calls as you can attend. Do background work locally. That's kind of what I did. I am very fortunate to work between New Mexico Film and LA. I do have a New Mexico agent, and New Mexico Film is popping off really well, which I'm very excited about. But prior to moving out here, I actually worked a lot of background on some pretty big shows. I was constantly searching the internet for casting calls so I could work on non-paid, low-budget short films just to get experience. And then I also self-submitted myself to a bunch of auditions locally and tried to get as many commercials and stuff just to kind of build myself up before I came out here. It's a simple Facebook search if you want to find a group. The group I'm in, I think, is titled New Mexico Casting or New Mexico Extras and More. In your local town or state or university, I'm sure there is plenty of places of resources. I know at my university we had a film department, and they were constantly working on shorts for their projects and their group projects. So I think that'd be a really great resource. Just come to LA with as much as experience as you possibly can, because out here is, you know, it's the top. Definitely try to come with a few credits. It doesn't have to be anything major, just something to put on your resume, which will really stand out. Moving on to my next tip, which is come to LA with your headshot and your resume. Like I said, you got your headshot taken care of, you didn't spend a lot of money on that, you got some materials under your belt, some non-paid, non-union, low-budget shorts. That's okay. That is okay. Everyone has to start somewhere. So if you got your headshot and your resume, and even if you get lucky enough to get some of that material back, now you have a demo reel. That is extremely important, so casting and agents and managers know what you look like, what you've been in, and how you sound on camera. That is probably the 3 most important things that you need to have in your back pocket and literally kept with you all the time. I try to keep my headshot and my resume in my car whenever I get a last minute audition and I need to jump over across town. I have those materials with me. But even when you're meeting with potential agents or potential managers, that's the first thing that they're going to ask for is your headshot and resume. And then also, whenever you go to every single audition, do not forget your headshot and your resume, because that is literally your portfolio. That is who you are. That speaks to what you work and your value. And you need to hand that over with pride and say, my name is Alli Valdez. I'm a SAG-AFTRA actor, and I am auditioning for the role of Susie in your production of X, Y, and Z. Tip number, I don't even know, I forgot the numbers, so tip number whatever it is. Sign up for casting networks. You want to sign up for, I think, the 3 most important websites to use. One is Actors Access, basically the actors network comparable to LinkedIn. If you have representation, that's great, you get your profile for free. If you don't, you can pay, I think it's like a monthly subscription. It's not very expensive. I think the first month might even be free. I'm not too sure. Don't quote me on that. That is where you can find auditions. That's where you can find potential representation. That is where your agents will probably submit you through. You can look for auditions in LA, New York, Vancouver, New Mexico, Georgia, all the hot spots in the film industry. A lot of the times they're looking for very specific people, and they will often, even big productions will often resort to Actors Access to get talent or local talent or new talent in front of them. I've had some incredible, huge auditions that I got for myself based off of Actors Access. It's very simple. You sign up, you create a profile for yourself, you upload your headshot and your resume, any digital media you have, any slate shots, any demo reels, anything of that matter. A slate shot, if you don't know, is literally you looking into the camera and saying, "Hey, I'm Alli Valdez, I'm 5'2", and I am based out of LA." That's all it is. Just so, again, casting and agents and whomever is looking at your profile can see and hear what you sound like. Okay, the next acting profile I would say you need to invest in is signing up for IMDB Pro. That is a really, really great resource. If you're familiar with IMDB, just the regular platform, you of course can see the actors' like name and like what they've been in. I like to go in and look at productions that I like to follow. So for example, Riverdale, I'll talk about that show all the time. That's how I found out who does casting. So now I'm following David Rappaport and kind of trying to keep on his radar. Also with agents and managers, sometimes they have their email, literally their direct email listed on IMDB Pro. So if you want to try to cold call and self-submission to agents, you're more than welcome to use that. So I think IMDB Pro is very useful. It's worth your time, it's worth your money to invest in that service just so you can have access to emails and productions and who's doing what, who's casting, who's directing. Often before I get an audition, let's say I get an audition for some movie. Let's say it's Batman. Whoa, what if I don't know who Batman is? I need to know who the director is. I need to know who the casting is. I need to know who the producers are, and I'll often look back at their past work and see kind of the tone of the films that they are in. So let's say I get an audition for the next Suicide Squad. I need to know the tone of which their actors that they book portray. I need to know that I'm either going in to be super high emotional or I'm being very somber. There is a huge difference between going in for something like This Is Us compared to going into something like Schitt's Creek. Of course, it's a drama and a comedy, but you need to know those tones. So IMDb Pro is a very, very effective resource to know what casting is looking for, who they've booked before, what are their actors doing, and what titles have they worked on in the past that could help align you to get you in the best shape for your audition. So those are my two strongest networks I'm on right now. I do know my commercial agent does use LA Casting. That one I'm not very strong with. I actually need to get better with myself because I know some really great auditions can come from LA Casting. I don't have much to say about LA Casting because I don't use it as often. However, I do have a profile. I do know my commercial agent submits me through there, and I do know that he also asked me to sign up for Casting Frontier. So if I were to rank all these networks, Actors Access, IMDb Pro, LA Casting, Casting Frontier. Those are the 4 networks that I think are the strongest platforms to use. So it's really worth investing your time and your resources into being knowledgeable on how all of those services work. Okay, tip number, I don't know. Okay, so once you sign up for your casting websites, be sure once you get out to LA, sign up for background work. I think being background is important for 2 reasons. Number 1, when you do book your first principal performer, it is going to taste and feel 100% better because you know what it's like to be a background actor. I'm gonna be honest, background sucks, but it is so important to be a part of. Background is long hours, literally at the bottom of the totem pole. You have all of the departments and then you have background, okay? But it's extremely important. When you're a background actor, please note that you're not the star of the show. If anything, you're probably going to be like focused out of frame and just seen as your body. That's all background is. But it's a very, 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 very important way to just sit back and watch everything unfold. Notice how the actor works on frame. Notice how they're aware of their eye level. Notice how they're never looking into the camera. Notice if they are looking into the camera and they're doing a direct shot, they're probably looking down. Notice how the cinematographers shoot the scene. Notice how the lighting is set up. Notice every little piece of it. Being background is so important because you can literally just sit back, be quiet. Because that's what you're gonna have to do. You can't talk, and just take it all in. Know you're not the star, and know you're not going to be in frame. Just literally use that time to just learn as much as you can so you have a proper set etiquette when you do book your first ever principal performer. When you do get onto set as a principal performer, you need to know kind of how the lay of the land works, and you're not going to be able to ask silly questions and rookie questions like, what's a grip? What's lighting? Who's the sound? What's a sound mixer? Why is everyone yelling at me rolling? Like, you know, so as a background actor, it's a very great way to sit back and observe everything. For that reason, I encourage every single young actor to do background. Be humble with yourself, accept background, and do it to learn and to just understand what it's like to be on set. Okay. So my last and final tip. Shout out to every single one of you who have made it this far to hear my number one most important tip every actor needs to know about moving to LA. Save your money. Save as much money as you possibly can before moving out to LA. There are so many reasons why I can go off on why this is important, because it is expensive out here and money is going to disappear quick. And you need to save for your apartment deposit for first and last month's rent. You need to save for classes. You need to save for headshots. You need to save for car expenses, gas, groceries, rent, like you name it. Like, literally save as much money as you possibly can, because I guarantee you coming to LA with $6,000 is not going to cut it. Like, $6,000 may seem a lot, but it's really not enough money to save. I personally think every young actor, aspiring actor, artist, musician, aspiring LA person needs to save about $10,000 before moving out. If I'm being honest, that is the number I saved for myself, and it really helped me carry into my first year into LA. So yeah, so that is it. Thank you so much for making it this far and watching my 10 things you should know about moving to LA as an actor. I really hope you enjoyed this channel. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. I try to put videos out every single week. Again, I am no expert in this field. I know just as much as you do, except I am just 1 year in LA. Why is this blinking at me? Okay, don't forget to like and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram. My name is Alli Valdez. We'll talk to you next week.